Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Monday, everybody. You're watching Creator Spotlight, powered by the Dorkman Podcast Network. We have an amazing show for you. My name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard. And how you doing there, RW?
Hey, I am doing great. And I hear that this podcast is going to be exciting and new.
Hey, Velvet Joker, why don't you come aboard?
That's what I was just thinking. I got to come on board. Absolutely. But yeah, this is exciting. We've got Miss Jill Whelan, a.k.a. Vicky from the Love Boat in her earlier career.
Hey,
and we're going to find out what she's doing these days.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, great to have you. And I know I'm excited to see it, but I'm sure there's somebody here that's ecstatic about it.
Just a little.
Dressed for the part.
So RW, where do we know Jill from?
Well, you know her from two places, but I mean, you know her from a lot of places, but obviously Vicky Stubing on the Love Boat.
Ah!
And the girl from Airplane.
There you go. Not to be confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe I can still do that after all these years. So, tell us how you got started in this crazy show business world.
Well, when I was really, really little, my mom was a preschool director. And in the summertime, she needed someplace creative for me to go. It wasn't real. Oh, there goes my dog. Yep, he's just going to be everywhere. That's Buddy, the Great Pyrenees. So she needed someplace for me to go while she was teaching, because whenever she would take me to her work in the summer, I would try to teach her students, but I was barely out of preschool myself. I think I was 7 or 8 at the time. And so the only thing that was happening in the town that she thought would be fun and creative, which is what she knew I needed, is they were doing a production of The King and I. And she thought, oh, there's a lot of kids in that show. That'll be like summer camp. This will be good. So she contacted the local voice teacher. The local voice teacher gave me a song. I auditioned with the song and I got a part in the play. And lots of those kids were doing theater in San Francisco. I'm from the Bay Area originally. So a lot of those kids were already working actors. And I thought that looked like something super fun. So I asked them, how do you do it? And they said, oh, well, this is our agent. You just send them a picture, a headshot, and see what they say. Well, I didn't have a headshot. I had a school picture. So I sent my school picture in. And one day my mom got a phone call from this gal named Ann Brebner, who happened to own this commercial agency in San Francisco. And she said, we'd like to see your daughter. And she said, well, how do you know about my daughter? She said, well, we have her picture here. Didn't you send us her picture? And my mom said, no. And she asked me, and I said, oh, no, I did. And I was 7. at the time.
Oh, wow.
So she didn't know that I did this, but I did. So she said, all right, well, I'll take you in there, but this is a world I'm not familiar with. It's a world I think is scary. So I will take you, but I am not going to go in with you. You want to go in and meet with these people, you're going to go in by yourself. I will wait for you outside. And if somehow if they want to sign you and you start working with them, and if you start not having a fun time and this becomes no longer fun, if you ever cry, we're out. Because I'm not doing this if it's going to make you sad. I'm not going to do it. So you have to be a big girl if you want to do this. And that's kind of how it started. It was commercials. And then I went to the voice teacher had a best friend who lived in Los Angeles, who was a working actress, who had an agent. She said, look, you got to look at this kid. This kid, she's got to be on TV. She sings, she dances. You gotta see her. So the woman did. And she said, well, I'm going to introduce her to my agent. And the agent said, oh, well, we're doing, they're holding auditions here in Los Angeles at the Dorothy Chandler production at the theater. And they said, they're doing Annie, the musical. So she should audition. So they got me an audition. I went in and I auditioned and I got the part. And then there was a talent scout there from Aaron Spelling Productions, who also saw me and asked me to come in and audition for the role of Nancy on a TV show called Friends. Obviously not the Friends that you know, where I'd be driving a much nicer car, but it was Friends nonetheless. And it was about 3 little kids that were all in different financial situations. And they were the 3 leads of the show. So I got cast in that. And then I had to choose, did I want to do the touring company of Annie, or did I want to be on TV? And I'd always wanted to be on TV. So it was a super easy choice. And that's what I did.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah. And then Love Boat was also an Aaron Spelling, Doug Kramer production. And I guest starred as the character of Vicky on Love Boat.
Yeah.
But it was an inference that I was his daughter. It was never locked up and tied up with a bow that I was, because I had this other show to go back to. So they ended up, when my show Friends didn't make it, Aaron Spelling called me at home. My mom was so happy that the show didn't make it. She was like, oh, thank God, we can go back to our normal lives. Back to the Bay Area. This crazy Hollywood stuff is over. And so then we got the call, and Aaron said, we'd like you to come back and be a series regular. Would you come back? And so, of course, I did. And so then, you know the rest.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those trajectories that, you know, it sort of took on its own life. It's not like I was pounding the pavement for years and years and it finally happened. It was just, that was obviously what was supposed to happen. And I just buckled up my seatbelt pretty much.
I'm the guy pounding the pavement. For 35 plus years, but yeah, that's
no, I pounded the pavement later.
Oh, yes. I just had a question. I don't want to take the show over, so if someone else has something.
So how many years were you on Love Boat?
All told, about 9 years with all of the specials that we did afterwards. I came at the end. It was the end of the first season or the end of the second season. I can't remember.
I think it was the end of season 2, I believe.
Okay, I'll trust you.
And then on season 3, there you are.
There we go. There we go.
Now, Jill, was Gavin off screen? Was he fatherly with you?
He was better than you could ever imagine. He and I were so close. Very close to his kids. We hung out together all the time on weekends, and he would come over to our house for dinner. He gave me away at my second wedding.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And he was truly, whatever you thought you knew about Gavin MacLeod, he was tenfold better.
Oh, that's incredible to hear. Awesome. Yeah. And did anyone? I'm sorry, I apologize.
Nope.
Did anyone else in the cast sort of take you under their wing for? I mean, you were the youngest cast member for sure.
They all did, but they did it in different ways. Gavin was obviously the most paternal. Lauren Tweez became like a big sister, and she still is to this day. Fred Grandy was always like the older brother. He took on that role, even though Fred had kids. He was still kind of like the older brother kind of guy, funny and that sort of thing. Bernie Kopell was very much of a father figure, kind of like an uncle. And Ted Lange became my brother from another mother. And as I got older, that part of our relationship really, really became like that. And Ted and I speak probably more at this point now, probably more than anybody else. He is just, I mean, they're all amazing people. They're amazing people. They have so much talent between all of them. Fred is one of the smartest people I know, but so is Ted. Ted Lange is a historical playwright, and he writes, and he writes incredible plays that he researches about African Americans in American history. And he's such a talented playwright and a really talented director. I have a pilot that I co-wrote and co-produced called Taking It From the Top. And it is a really fun kind of a show about, well, it's kind of like me. I mean, it's kind of like sort of my story in a way. And did you lose me? Am I here?
No,
You're here.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to find you guys. You went away physically, but I'll figure it out.
I saw the trailer for that, and I just have not got a chance to watch it yet, but it does look really hilarious.
Oh my God. It's so much fun. And he directed it and sort of was my dramaturg for the whole thing and helped us edit down our script. Just an amazing human being. An amazing human being.
Now, I know there was, I mean, you guys were so lucky in the fact that, I mean, the list of guest stars, which is what really attracted me to the show back in the day, was, Milton Berle and, Carol Channing and Betty White. And I mean, just, I can't even think. There's so many to mention, but
Andy Warhol also.
Yeah, exactly. And Charo, Coochie.
Yes.
But of all those people, I know one person that you're still very close with, Glenn Scarpelli. Now, how many other people did you form that bond with guest stars? Like Glenn was on like 3 times, I think, or something like that. So did you form bonds with other people? Like I know Jimmy Osmond was on a few times, and this person was on a few times. Did you have a chance to like bond with more guest stars?
I did bond. I mean, I bonded with Ethel Merman.
Yeah, I heard that story, but why don't you tell everybody who doesn't know it?
So Ethel Merman, although, she comes off as this tough broad, she really was a marshmallow and the most lovely, giving, generous actor. And she was, oh, there goes Buddy. He's in control. The mail just came. She was just so generous with her time with me, and we were pen pals, and I just adored her. She was funny and smart and talented and professional and a great teacher. Then let's see who else. Glenn and I became super good friends. We used to travel and tour together and sing together with Sammy Davis Jr. And we did one show with Frank Sinatra. We did a show with Liza Minnelli, and Liza and I are friends today. But so it was that was probably it. My mom kept it pretty normal for me as a kid. She wanted to create as much normalcy as possible. As you know, oh, Buddy, you can't bark now.
Oh, I can bark.
I can see you going. But she tried to keep it as normal for me as she possibly could, which I'm very thankful for, because I would still, when I was not on the set, she would whisk me away to my regular school as opposed to my tutor on the set. So most of my friends were my school friends or my neighbors.
Okay, great.
Now, to sort of flip that question on its side, was there any of the guest stars that you got absolutely starstruck? I'm sure there are a bunch, but it's
You know, I get that question, and it's one of my favorites because it's not quite the answer you'd think. I wasn't starstruck when I was on Love Boat because I think I was too young to really understand the magnitude. I had a huge appreciation for the actors that we worked with because I loved old movies. So I was very present and aware of the Hollywood legends that I was working with, you know, Van Johnson and Cab Calloway, Ethel, Carol Channing, you know, on and on and on. Andy Warhol, Halston, all of those people, Bobby Short. But the one time when I was really starstruck was after Love Boat was over. I had my first child, and obviously, like you do with your kids, all we did was watch Disney movies. So we were watching Peter Pan, we were watching Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Mary Poppins, and on and on and on. So when I did Diagnosis Murder with Dick Van Dyke as an adult, now having seen all those movies that he was in, but from the eyes of a parent watching their child, I walked on the set and I couldn't, I mean, I could hardly speak. I couldn't get my lines out. I tripped over his feet. I'm sure he was like, what is wrong with this one? But it was, now I'm looking at him through the eyes of my kid. And it was a completely different meaning, so much more of an intense appreciation and awe for this man, because I know what he meant to my children. So that was probably the only time I've ever really, really, really been starstruck.
And obviously, aside from all the incredible, and they were incredible guest stars that you guys had on that show in the 10-year run, and you went to some incredible places, Greece, Japan, Egypt. You know, I don't even remember all the places you guys went. Was there one place? And I know there's some stories out there of a scary thing that happened, but is there one place in particular that you went, I know Amsterdam, Portugal, whatever, that you were just like, I mean, maybe you're looking back now going, I can't believe I was standing on the Great Wall of China? Or was it the same thing when you were a little kid? You're just like, oh, I'm here or whatever. Or was it, you know, a big thing?
No, it was huge. It was huge to be able to do that kind of travel. And I actually, you mentioned the Great Wall of China. I was in school and I was actually doing Eastern civilization in school. So I was reading about the Great Wall while I was sitting on it.
Wow.
So that's pretty incredible. Another fun story is we were in Egypt, like you mentioned, and we were sitting in this hotel where we were staying. And some Army officers came up to our little, we were sitting in the bar or something, just talking, having a drink, whatever we were doing. And they came up to us and they said, you know, we have an Army base not too far from here with some beautiful Arabian horses. Do any of you ride? Would you care to come ride with us? Yes. Not only did we get to ride these beautiful Arabian horses, but we got to ride them on at sunset in front of the Sphinx and the pyramid.
Wow, right? That's incredible.
Yeah. So that was an incredible story. One time when I was in New York, we weren't shooting, but this has to do with one of our guest stars. I was shopping in a store and a young gal tapped me on the shoulder and she asked if I was me. And I said, yes. She said, well, I work for Andy Warhol. And I know he just did your show. And if he knew that you were here and that I saw you, he would be really sad if I didn't invite you to come down to the factory downtown. Would you come? Yeah. I was looking at, got in a taxi with this woman. I mean, times were totally different then. Got in a taxi and went down to the factory. Andy met me at the door, took me around, signed posters for me, and it was pretty incredible. So those are some really fun stories.
Yeah.
And Jill, a little bit later in your career, I believe in '97, you got to reprise Vicky in the Martin Show.
Yeah. Yes.
Can you tell a little bit of that experience? Number one, from the perspective of not playing that in at least a decade, and then also what was that like on the set? Because there have been some crazy stories about that show over the years.
You know, it's just all I can say about it that I can remember is, you know, every set has a different vibe and a different, it all depends on the people who are the stars of the show.
Mhm.
And, you know, Gavin and Bernie Coppell on our show were very, you know, they'd been working forever. So they really understood what it was that they had.
Mhm.
And they really understood how lucky we were as actors to be working actors. And they instilled that in us on a daily basis. We are not the stars of the show. The ship is the star, and the guest stars are the star. And they are ostensibly coming to our home. So that's who we need to be. And when I was on Martin, it was fine and great, but, you know, it was a different, you know, Martin was definitely the star of the show. And it was fine. It was fine. Everybody was great and lovely. All the supporting actors could not have been more lovely. But, you know, he didn't really have it down to be the guest host. He was not the consummate host, so to speak.
All
Which is fine. I mean, it's a job. You go in, you do your job, and it is what it is. But there is really, when you are spearheading or leading a show, you are the star of a show. There really is an art to when people come on the set. You have to think about that when people come onto that set, they don't know anybody. The crew and the cast know each other like brothers and sisters. They all work together. It's really important, I think, with the other actors to make sure, you know, they feel welcome and not like they're, you know, waiting in a doctor's office for their scene to be on and then go back to your trailer. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Now, when Lauren left and Pat replaced her, and she didn't really replace her because no one can replace Lauren, but you know what I'm saying. How did that dynamic change, and how was it, you know, having to bond with somebody who's, you know, new to the show, and then obviously a little bit before that they had added Ted McGinley as Ace or whatever. And then the mermaids. So like that whole, like, how did
that was our jump the shark moment?
Yeah, was it? Yes.
Yeah. Ted McGinley he's funny and one of my favorite people. He's just a really nice guy. I mean, I will say, when I was a kid, I will bet you dollars to donuts that every, you know, pubescent girl my age would have a crush on him. I mean, he was this stunning guy, but he was just as stunning on the inside. So he, you know, he fit right in. He was great. He was wonderful. And he's just a lovely guy, very talented, very funny, you know, so it was wonderful. He was a great fit.
Awesome.
Now, fast forward to today, you're currently an ambassador for Princess Cruises, correct?
I am.
So just real quick, I know we only have a couple minutes left, but I have information for Jill in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And you do have a Love Boat themed cruise coming up. Is that correct?
We do. And it's going to be so much fun. The rest of the cast we're getting together on February 25th through March, or I think, is it 25th or 26th? 26th. Okay, through March
5th.
And Gavin's birthday would have been on February 28th. So we are doing a memorial cruise, and we are going to do all of his favorite places in the Mexican Riviera. So it's Cabo San Lucas. It is
Mazatlan.
Thank you, Mazatlan.
Puerto Vallarta.
And Puerto Vallarta.
And the only reason I know this is because I'm going to be on that cruise and I get to meet you in person and the rest of the cast, and it's blowing my mind.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
It's
awesome.
so fun. We're doing Q&As. I am going to be hosting renewal of vows.
Nice.
For anybody who's interested in doing that. And if you want to call your travel agent or go to princess.com, I know it's selling out pretty fast, but it should be so fun. We're all looking forward to getting together and to celebrate Gavin. And they're gonna bring back some of his favorite princess dining room foods, like the fettuccine Alfredo and hot dogs up on the deck, which are his favorite. They're going to be serving the Isaac cocktail. So it's going to be fun. It'll be a really good time.
I saw a video of the ship horn playing the Love Boat theme.
Yes.
That was awesome.
So
Nice.
it was like I think it was a week ago. I was checking my email, and this thing from Princess Cruise Line said something Love Boat Cruise, and I went, "Oh, what is this?" And I clicked on it, and I went, "Oh my God!" And so I had some money saved up. I was supposed to go on another cruise with my girlfriend and her parents, like somewhere down the road. So I had all this money saved up that I wouldn't spend for this cruise. And I looked at my girlfriend and I said, I have to be on this cruise. There's no way I cannot be on this cruise. And she said, I know that. And so her parents donated some money to me so that I could be on that cruise. And like I said before we went live on here, how much the show means to me. 40 years I've wanted to meet you all, and obviously I won't get to meet Gavin, but I will get to be part of the celebration for his life, which will be awesome. But I am so looking forward to meeting you in person and everybody else. And like, if you guys go into Mazatlan and you see some guy following you, it's probably me. but
I'll let my husband know.
Yeah, there you go. But seriously, it just all happened like again, we were supposed to do this podcast the 15th, and then you had a conflict or whatever. And then I got the news that I was going to do this cruise. So had we done it, when we were supposed to, I wouldn't be able to tell you that. But yeah, I am so looking forward to being on that ship with all of you and meeting you guys and thanking you and all that stuff. So yeah,
we're looking forward to having you. So
it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
And Jill, if I could sneak one more in, I know you got to go and cook for the kids.
Please do.
Fast forwarding, all the classic stuff is amazing, but you apparently were the co-host for 25 years to the Mark and Brian radio show, correct?
I wasn't a co-host. Brian and I have been friends for a gazillion years, and we actually, when Mark decided to retire, Brian called me. I was in Pennsylvania at the time. He said, "Look, Mark's retiring. I'm pretty sure I want to continue, but I want you to take his place." And Brian and I had been writing together forever bits for their show. So I knew Mark super well. And I said, all right, I'd absolutely love to. And that was the plan. We were going to go and do the continuation of Mark and Brian, but it would be Brian and Jill. And then at the last minute, he literally the night before we were supposed to announce, he was like, I can't do this. I can't get up at 3:00 anymore in the morning. I need a break. Can we just do a podcast instead? So that's what we ended up doing. So that's probably where you're
okay.
Thinking.
And are you guys still doing the podcast today?
We aren't. Brian worked so hard for so many years. He just, he went straight from the 25-year show to our podcast, and he just needed a break. He needed a break. He needed to have fun. He needed to relax and enjoy his life, which he hadn't been able to do getting up at 3 a.m. every day for 25 years. So
sure.
So yeah, but
and how long did that end up lasting then?
I think we did it for, I don't know if it was a year or 2 years. I think more like a year. Okay. But yeah, he's a great friend of mine, and yeah, we're really good friends.
Awesome. Sam, I'm glad to see that your career transitioned into something else, and that you're still doing awesome, and you have that beautiful tree and your awesome dogs and your wonderful family.
Yes.
Thank you. And
he's like, chiming in. Very important.
In case anybody thinks they're going to jump through the window, they're going to be surprised by 190 pounds.
Right.
Absolutely. Look out.
Well, Jill, I want to thank you so much, Jill, for joining us this evening. And just two things really quick. I know you got to go. One thing, definitely, like I said, all the information for Jill is in the show notes. But one thing that I've seen you say is talking about using Princess Cruises as a sort of summer school for kids. It seems like you're a big proponent for using the cruises for teaching as well. I find that extremely admirable.
We have at Princess Cruises, we have a partnership with the Discovery Network.
Oh, nice.
So, when Shark Week comes along, all the kids clubs on the ship, we have a teen club and a kid club. They all do interactive programs on board when they're at sea, but they also have Discovery sanctioned excursions. So one of the things I've done with my littlest son, who's 16, is we went to a reserve, and we released baby leatherback turtles into the ocean. when we went to, I took my kids on a 14-day Mediterranean cruise in the summer. And it's just, I just feel like there is nothing better for perspective when raising your kids, if you can find a way to do it. And believe me, I know it's hard. I'm a single mom. I've got 2 kids. I was a single mom with both of them. I'm married now, but it was really hard as an actor. For those of us who are actors who know what the paycheck is like for unworking actors, to raise kids and to find something to do with them. But, I was lucky enough to work with Princess to do this for them. And there's nothing better than letting your kids see what's outside of their own window and outside of their own country. I think it's super important for understanding and tolerance, as well as just understanding that we're not the only country on the planet, that there are some incredible cultures and beautiful traditions and architecture and World Heritage sites and so many things that I think are such a gift for our kids to be in the world, understanding and seeing and experiencing. So
amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us. So in 10 seconds or less, I know we didn't touch upon it. Thoughts on Airplane, and where do you like people interacting with you on social media?
They can follow me on Instagram. It's just my name. They can follow me on my Facebook page. I'm also on Twitter. So all of those places. And then we have a YouTube channel for Take It From the Top, and they can see the episodes that we've shot. So that's kind of fun. And that's Take It From the Top TV on YouTube. You search Take It From the Top TV, Jill Whelan, and it should come up.
Awesome. And I probably got that in the show notes. We'll let you go. Thank you so much, Jill. You have a most awesome holiday.
See you in February.
Have a great
See you in
evening.
February. Can't wait to see you in person. And thank you guys so much.
Thank you so
Happy
much.
holidays.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. And actually, I'm just going to make sure I kick her from the back room there. And yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
We're still live.
RW, you look like you were in heaven, man.
Yeah.
I know we didn't get a chance to touch upon Airplane, but obviously, one of the funniest movies ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Rich, thank you so much for joining us this evening as
worries.
well. Where do you like people interacting with you?
Get me on Insta, Velvet Joker 2021, or on Facebook. You know me as Rich Davis, aka formerly known as the Connecticut Joker.
RW.
Over there. Some right.
There it
Yeah.
is, right there. Official.
There's also
RW
some
Martin
stuff
Doctor.
up or below, depending on where you're looking. At least that's what Leo said.
Oh,
So
yeah.
either up here or down here, there's some links. I don't know, but yeah.
There are, and I have to say, definitely A+ for effort there, RW, for dressing up tonight. Absolutely love it. And,
Thank you.
He's stupendous.
So
Oh,
a friend of
He's
mine,
stupendous.
a friend of mine went to a Comic-Con once and met Bernie Kopel and got an autograph for me. And it says, I don't know if you can see it because it's glary, but it says RW from one doc to another.
Nice.
Oh, very cool.
A little resemblance there now.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. You don't want to hear about that. Just follow these awesome people, and definitely check the show notes. I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. Tons of shows on the network. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. And if you want to learn more about Princess Cruises and their theme, their Love Boat theme cruise coming in February, definitely check the show notes as well. And with that, we'll catch you guys there. Bye.
Check it out.